Yeah, you can put the screen on.
Hi Atul, session is live now, so let's wait for the attendance.
Okay.
As soon as people will join in, we will.
No, because if I don't stop, I can't see who has joined. Actually, no, I can.
You can.
No,
I'm
can go
going on
into
mute.
participants and you can see the list.
Sorry?
You can go to the participants tab and you can see the list of attendance.
Okay. I think we should give it 3-4 minutes for everybody to join, right?
Yes, yes. I would even say like we can give 5 to 7 minutes based on the as the audience is join. We can have a
Yeah.
better call after discussion with audience that when we
Yes.
start.
I will let you start it. Just quick introduction, and then I'll take it over.
Uh, Hayatul, I guess audience is still joining, so we can wait for 5 minutes more, and we can start at 11:10 sharp. Hi everyone. Welcome to all of you on behalf of Dice Analytics and MicroStrategy. I'm Aliza Anjum, working as one of the co-founder in Dice Analytics. And today, MicroStrategy team will join me, and just a quick introduction for MicroStrategy team. MicroStrategy team and Dice Analytics have partnered in Pakistan just to launch the MicroStrategy services in Pakistan. For more details about the product and their features, I guess Atul and Ranjit can support me better because they are the product expert. So I will hand over the session to Atul and Ranjit, and they will share the more the details about the overall product and the features, particularly a unique feature which MicroStrategy have. It's known as Hyperintelligence and zero click analytics. So over to Atul uh, for the session.
Thank you, Ali. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Okay. First of all, thank you everyone for joining. We really appreciate your time. I know the situation in Pakistan with respect to COVID, so really appreciate it. I can promise you, you will see something unique in today's presentation that you probably have not seen with any other analytics tools or platforms out there in the market. Okay. A quick introduction. My name is Atul Kaul. I'm the regional manager for Middle East, Egypt, and Pakistan from a MicroStrategy perspective. We have partnered with Dice Analytics recently as one of our strategic partners in Pakistan, and we will be doing many more sessions like this, in next few months. Okay. All right. I will just give a quick company background. I'm not sure if all of you know MicroStrategy. We are a 30-year-old company. We are based out of our HQ is in Washington D.C. and we've been in business for 30 years. Regionally, we have offices in Dubai, South Africa, UAE, Turkey, and inshallah, if we might be opening an office in Pakistan in near future as well. Okay, that's the plan. So in last 30 years, there were a lot of players in the market. If you think about 1990s, there was Business Objects, there were Cognos, and during those time we used to compete with them, right? But during the course and during the life cycle of different software companies, most of them got acquired by bigger companies, and the recent one was the Tableau's acquisition by Salesforce, right? But we have managed to stay independent for last 30 years because our core focus is business intelligence. We have not acquired any technology, neither have we got acquired by a big company. So every product line that we have is homegrown, okay? And that is our company mission. Our company mission is not to grow revenue. It's customer satisfaction, and it's to help customers with big data problems, right? Just to give you guys a perspective of some of the big names associated with MicroStrategy. These are some of the big companies globally across different industries. An interesting example is Facebook. Facebook, those ads that you see which pop up based on which region are you in, what your interests are, that is all powered by MicroStrategy. Okay. MicroStrategy and Facebook did a project together for 6 years to build a platform specifically for Facebook on MicroStrategy, which could process that kind of information. They tried this with different technologies but failed. After this session, I will ask Ali to send some videos where Facebook talks about how they could achieve this only with MicroStrategy. So that is the power of MicroStrategy engine, right? From a performance perspective. Now coming to regional side, we have the biggest names in Middle East region. Okay, the biggest airlines, Emirates, Turkish Emirates is our biggest customer in this whole region. Okay, Saudi Telecom, Ooredoo, Kuwait, Turkcell, and Emaar, big customers. From a Pakistan perspective, we work with Ufone, Jazz, and PTCL. These are our big customers in Pakistan, and we've been working with them for past many years. Now coming to MicroStrategy 2020, we didn't want to call our latest version 11.5 or 12.3. We wanted it to be very simple, so we named it after the year. So the theme is analytics for everyone and everything. And what does that mean? That means we want to deliver intelligence and analytics to every constituent in a company, right? Typically, you have your reports, you have your dashboards, you have some of the mobile application, and not more than 20% of the people in an organization actually get to use analytics. And even out of those 20%, not everybody actually opens up a dashboard every day to make a decision. And multiple reasons. You have to learn that tool, you have to get used to opening a big dashboard to get a simple answer. And these are few of the reasons people don't consume intelligence every day, right? Okay, so MicroStrategy in a nutshell offers three different areas of functionality. Okay, one, hyperintelligence, which we will focus on today. Okay, which basically is a zero-click intelligence. It's a concept where intelligence and analytics is coming to you onto the tools that you use every day. And I will talk more about this in the coming slides, right? The other one is transformational mobility. This is quite unique. So our mobile dashboards are not just dashboards which you can look at on a mobile. These are more transformational, transactional in nature. You can do things. You can write back. You can do surveys. You can use any features of the native mobile that you're using. A great example would be Emaar Properties. Emaar Properties in Dubai uses our transactional mobile capability. And on the front end of that mobile app, they can do surveys. They can check information. So it's very transformational. It's not just looking at a dashboard. Okay. And the third one is the concept of dossiers, which is self-service dashboards. So with MicroStrategy, you can build quick dashboards within minutes with easy drag and drop and beautiful dashboards, which we have called it dossiers, right? Now coming to the main point of hyperintelligence, which is the focus today, right? So Gartner said that hyperintelligence is the most innovative feature in the BI space that they have seen in many, many years, because it puts the focus on the end user experience and brings analytics into the tools that they use every day. All right. Guys, we will not take questions now, but we will keep last 10 to 15 minutes for any potential questions, right? Okay, so this is how the situation looks like today, right? Imagine a typical day at office. You come to office, you have your Excel sheets, you have your Outlook, Salesforce, whatever tool you may use. Okay, you have information lying in all of these tools, right? On top of that, then you have your dashboards and reports. Now, typically on a day-to-day basis, you have to make simple decisions. You need simple information. You need information about certain KPI, sales figures, HR headcount, how many people, for example, resigned in last 1 month. Simple figures. To get this simple information, typically what people do is they go log into 5 different systems to get 5 different KPIs, or they open a big dashboard, try to slice and dice it. And it takes 15 to 20 minutes to get simple answers. This is a real case scenario that happens, right? No matter how many dashboards, reports you have, you still do not need detailed information every day. You need those certain KPIs, and you need it in the most easiest way as possible. And this is the problem that hyperintelligence has solved. And how does it solve it? Before I get to that, I just want to expand more on this point. So this graph, if you look at this, the things on the left-hand side is your typical business applications, right? And you have certain level of information that you get from them every day, right? Then on the right-hand side are fewer BI tools in the company. As I said, not more than 20, 30% people use them, right? And there is more information lying there. But what hyperintelligence can do, it can overlap on all of them and put analytics on all of these different tools. So literally you can have analytics delivered to 100% of your population. And how does it do it? It does it by delivering something called Hyper Cards. These are mini, you can call them mini dashboards in a way. Now imagine, and I will show you guys some videos after this, but imagine you are on your Salesforce, right? And on your Salesforce or any CRM tool, you see a customer name. And all you'd have to do is hover your mouse over the customer name, and a card will pop up with all the real-time information about that customer, all the KPIs that you want to see about that customer. And you can choose what KPIs you want to see about that customer. And there can be multiple use cases. It can be customer, it can be product, it can be even a support case in some scenarios. It can be a PO number. Any information that is lying in the backend systems can be put on a hypercard and projected onto your daily tools that you use. Same thing with Excel. You can supercharge your Excel using Hyperintelligence. And on mobile, it's the easiest way of delivering information from my perspective, right? So what are these hypercards? Just to show you guys some examples. These are key KPI cards, right? Key KPIs that you are bothered about. Now you can have employee cards. You can have case number cards, as I said before. And you can choose what KPIs you want to see there. You can have company cards, customer company cards. You can have product cards, and so on and so forth. So what basically hyperintelligence technology does, it takes data from any of the backend system you can think of, puts it in a simple hypercard that you see on the left-hand side, right?
Atul, sorry to interrupt you. One of the audience is saying he's not hearing your voice clearly. Can you please confirm from rest of the audience that whether most of them are hearing you clearly?
Yeah, I can hear it clearly.
I
Yes,
can
I can
also
also
hear. Yeah, I can also hear it clearly. Go ahead.
But go ahead, Atul.
Okay. All right. So essentially, the hyperintelligence, what it does, it gets information at the backend from any data source you can think of in the market right now. Because we are only in the business of analytics, and our intention, unlike the big companies like Microsoft or SAP, is not to sell you the whole stack. Our platform is completely open at the backend. So we connect to any potential data source. We connect to any type of data, and we can get that information and create a simple hypercard, something that you see on the left-hand side, with the KPIs that you want, and then run this hypercard on top of the tools that you use every day. So imagine, now I'll give you guys a very simple example, right? I will take my example. I think that's the easiest example I can give. So every day, what I worry about is, what is my team's forecast, sales forecast? How much forecast did they drop from last week? And when I say my team, I say all the people in my team separately, right? What was their HR score last quarter? How was their HR performance? What is their salary, and what is their salary expectations? So there are 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 things I worry about on a weekly basis. Now, to get this information, I have to either go to 5 different systems. I have to go to the HR system. I have to go to Salesforce to check their pipeline. I have to go to the ERP system to check the open invoices. I have to check how many open support tickets, critical support tickets are there for the big customers. With Hyperintelligence, there's a simple hypercard for each of the guys in my team. All I have to do is to go on my mobile, just type the first alphabet of that person's name, and this hypercard pops up with the real-time information from the backend system. So that's how easy it is. Or every time I get an email from that person in my team, I hover over his name on that email, that hypercard pops up with the real-time information of all those KPIs that I'm looking for. And all those KPIs at the backend are coming from 7 or 8 different systems. And this is all real-time information. I don't have to open a dashboard. I don't have to open a report. I don't have to open 5 different systems. Information is coming to me on the tools I use every day. And that is the power and innovation of hyperintelligence. And it gets more interesting. Even within a hypercard, when I get my employee hypercard, within the hypercard, we can have links to other tools. So hypercard can act as a launching pad to other tools. So in our case, we have connected our HyperCard to our HR system. So if one of my employees is asking for a leave, I can literally, every time I get an email from him, I hover my mouse over his name, I get this HyperCard. I can, if I see that he has put in a leave request, I can directly from here go to Workday and approve his leave. So that's another interesting thing, functionality with HyperCard. And my colleague Ranjit will talk more about these technical details. So have a look at this video. This is what I was talking about. So you have a simple email coming in. There are few names in there. And you have a Hyperintelligence, you have Hyperintelligence running on this, on Outlook. So essentially, it will recognize the key names within the email. And for every key name, if a HyperCard exists, it will pop it on the right-hand side. So your plain, boring emails become source of information suddenly. Same thing on web.
Sorry to interrupt you. Like you have played a video, and and it looks like a static slide at our end.
Okay, let me try to run this again, and let's see if this works.
Yes, now it's good.
Let me run it again one more time, just so that so essentially, a simple email, there are some keywords there, and Hyper will recognize the keywords, and for every keyword, it will pop up a HyperCard on the right-hand side with the key information about that keyword. So you have a product card in there, you have a store manager card, and you have a store card. Ali, could you see the video?
Yes, now it's good.
Yes.
The same HyperCard, I'm going to run this. Okay, let me try this. Let me first talk about this, and then I will run the video. So the same HyperCard can run on web also. So every time you go to any website or Google, there's a name there which is familiar with one of your keywords, the HyperCard will pop up. So to give you a simple example, I will go back to my own example. When I'm looking at my team, right, my team performance, I'm checking their performance every week. The HyperCard that I get on the emails, the same HyperCard I get every time I type my employee's name on Google. The same HyperCard gets popped up against his name. Let me know if you can see the video this time.
Yes.
Okay. We will share, guys, we will share all of this information. We will share the links to all these videos after the presentation as well. Now, this is the part where this is the one I love the most. This is Hyperintelligence on Salesforce, and it can be any of your web-based application. It doesn't have to be Salesforce only. Now you're on your Salesforce on a day-to-day basis. There are a lot of names there, right? Within Salesforce, you will see your name, you will see customer name, you will see product name. Imagine all of these names were hypercharged with information, right? This is what Hyperintelligence does. I will try to run this video again in case somebody could not see it. Now, Hyperintelligence, this, before I show you the next video, the Hyperintelligence part of MicroStrategy, this is completely agnostic, not just at the back end, but at the front end as well. So what that means is you can have Hyperintelligence on top of other BI tools as well. You can supercharge your dashboards and any web-based report, any web-based dashboard, you can put Hyperintelligence on top of that and supercharge that as well with information. And this is a video of Hyperintelligence on top of a Power BI dashboard. I will run the video again in case somebody didn't see it the first time. And the last one is Hyperintelligence on mobile. The same HyperCard that was on your email, that was on the web, the same HyperCard will run on mobile as well. Okay, you build that HyperCard one, you can build a HyperCard for an employee, a product, customer, store, depending on, the use cases are unlimited, depending on the industry and what kind of use case you're trying to address, what type of problem you're trying to address, right? It can be as simple as that. If you have people, let's say in the telecom space, you have people going out in the field for surveys or other things, and then they have to call somebody in office to get some information. With HyperCards, all he has to do is open his phone, put the name, and the HyperCard with real-time information pops up. And this is one of the million cases I can think of right now. So Hyper on mobile is simple. You go, there's a Hyper mobile app. You can just type the name there and the HyperCard pops up, or you could go to the Spotlight search, type a name, same HyperCard pops up. The amazing thing about this is that it is integrated with calendar. So every time you have a meeting coming up, and if you have 3 employees joining in the meeting, it will give you the alert, and it will also give you the HyperCard for each employee. So you know who you are talking to, what their background is, things like that. So typically in a day-to-day example, I'll give a very basic example. Every time, for example, I have a call with one of our big customers, there are 2 gentlemen from the customer side who are joining, and there's a customer name there. When I get the alert, I get HyperCards for the customer for those 2 people. So I know what the customer status is, if there's any pending invoices, if there's any critical support tickets. I know that right then and there when I'm having that conversation with those guys. Okay, that's the concept, basically the concept of Hyperintelligence. And these are some of the features, like I mentioned about calendar integration. So you can get alerts, you can search, and it works on the offline mode as well. Well, guys, I will stop here. Ranjit, do you want to take questions now or after you finish your part?
I will give, hi everyone, this is Ranjit. The quick intro, I handle the solution engineering team for MicroStrategy in the Middle East. Let me quickly show you a couple of live demos, after which I'm happy to take the questions. So thank you once again, Atul. So as Atul said, so to summarize, MicroStrategy is a BI enterprise platform. So we provide all sorts of BI assets or every flavor of BI that there is in the market. Having said that, we came up with this new technology called Hyperintelligence. So continuing the same concept, right? What Atul was saying. So it's all about taking that important decision within your comfort zone with all the top 5 or 6 KPI that you need to know. So as it was shown just a bit earlier, we can have the Hyperintelligence on your Outlook. You can have your Hyperintelligence card coming in your mobile or on your web, because these are 3 of the things. I don't know about you guys, I have not opened a dashboard since morning, but I have definitely looked at my Outlook to look at the mail. I have definitely checked out my mobile and also browse some of the things in the browser. So that is the whole idea. So let me start with a quick example with the Outlook. So as you can see on this mail, so my demo would be, I will depending upon the people coming from different industries and different background, also some generic ones. So like this kind of an email, right? It is quite common, right? Where it can be for the procurement, it can be for the finance guys. Usually you have a PO which is getting delayed and you know what to do. So usually when you get this kind of an email, what you usually do is you kindly call the people who are in charge, or you log into the system to put this PO number to get that information, and it takes time, right? With Hyperintelligence, you can see on the right side, this is what Atul was showing a bit earlier. You have a tab open, right, for the Hyper. So on the top, you can see the add-ins available. So one of the add-ins gives this information, and you get this cards. So all you need to do is just hover and get that information. So if you see here, I can get the complete information about that particular PO purchase order on this, right? My BU department, who has done it, what is the PO in terms of value, delivery, all that is needed. Usually this is not the case. This is possible. Why? Because we bring in data from different sources, join it together, create a single layer of metadata, and create these cards. So that is why this is possible. It's not just PO. Who is the supplier, right? So Dell is the supplier. So coming back to the question, so someone was in the group was asking to emphasize on the HR, right? So it's not just about PO, Dell. These are some examples. It can be anything. For example, more than often we are being pulled into an email, right, for an escalation about a Jira complaint or some customer complaint, and you have so many people in the loop. We don't know what that Jira or complaint is about, customer complaint is about, who is that customer, or rather who are the people in this email, because it's a large organization, you may not know everyone, right? Only thing you need to do is just hover and get that information. So regarding your own employees, regarding customer, regarding what is the complaint about, you get all that information. And the quick one, again, related to something that we usually see is, again, like PO, the invoice, right? We all deliver invoice and there is a date, there is a delay. Again, on the right side, you can see the information for different invoice. You click on it, you get the information. So one point to make here is this can be a gateway, right? So after all these years of business intelligence, what we found out is not more than 35 to 40 people are actually using the dashboards. Even if the IT, the BI team is delivering beautiful, easy to use, again, 60% of the people are reluctant from actually go to a link, clicking on it, going through it and take a decision, right? Most of them go with the gut decision. So this is for them who wants to have that top 5 or 6 KPIs to take that informed decision, right? And for the other half who wants to do more slice and dice, as you can see, we can have links here, right? For the dashboards, other your internal systems where they can do further drill down or analysis. So this can act as a gateway as well. I hope there are someone in the group, they are part of the banking. I'll just quickly show you a couple of them. So again, banking, very vast, so much of customers, so much of employees, the data is huge. So again, something like this, most of the time you get an alert regarding a customer number, name, who is the, let's say, who is the relationship manager. You may not be able to know who it is, what it is about, but with my Hyperintelligence, you can have card for everything. So I can click on the card, I can see, okay, this is the customer, how it is, all the information. As you can see, very comprehensive list of KPIs. You go to the relationship manager, you get the other information. As I said earlier, this can be gateway as well, right? So I can click on it. It will take me to further analysis where as a user, they can again slice and dice and dig deep into more detailed analysis. So this we saw till now is actually, so as you can, this is a sample dashboard for that particular relationship manager who are his top customers, slice and dice thing, So now going back to the web browser, right? So the whole idea is wherever you are, you are able to take that decision and access Hyperintelligence. In web for Google, Chrome, and for Microsoft IE, we have extensions, right? So you can have extension, you have these cards, You can enable, disable. The same goes here. So you have the cards for, and it's all based on the centralized security. You can, according to your security role, you have cards available. I can enable cards which will give me the information. Same user interface, same UX. You have the same here. So I have enabled a few of the cards. This time around, let me show you some example regarding the telco, right? So let's look at JAS, right? It's one of the biggest telco companies in Pakistan. Let's assume I'm a marketing manager, right? I'm a marketing manager. I'm looking at what are my, how people are responding to my marketing campaigns or the new products. So I'm just going to the postpaid section. Like going to the postpaid section. So I have the Kpi Cards enabled, right? Then I'm looking at two of the biggest main postpaid section, and I can just hover. So this is just a summary of KPIs. So I can understand what is the inquiry, how many click happened. Actually, we can have the conversion, how much revenue generated, the other KPIs, everything, right? So you're not logging into your Salesforce, you're not logging into your own internal system to get that information, how this particular product is, my particular product is performing on this website, right? It's a big thing for the marketing team as well. So I can just hover on my website, wherever I am, I can do this. Usually a question comes in at this particular place where, can this be used everywhere on a selected site? Thanks, Osman, for asking that, right? Absolutely good question. So this is completely, we can black label or white label, which means that we can decide on which website it should come. And we can also decide which website it should not come, right? So it's like more like a white labeling and black labeling, right? Actually, so you can do that. And going back, so we are in this part, like we are looking at this. Let's say I'm a manager and I'm looking at this, and there are some KPIs that I'm worried about, right? Postpaid and prepaid. I'm worried about what is my top KPIs. One of the top KPIs regarding the data, right? How is the data usage? Or let's say what is other thing? Like call. So what I can do is, you can always have the option within MicroStrategy to actually search here, right? So I just want to understand how is my main KPI, which is data doing. So I just type data, and there is a card available, data usage. I click on it, bam, I get all the KPIs, right? Usually to get this, you have to go to a website, do so many of clicks. But here, within wherever you are, so the same is available on the mobile, same is available on the Outlook as well. So I click on data, you get that important information, that right? Then what's next? Maybe I want to check, let's say, voice. Yeah, voice usage. I click on it. I get, again, as I said earlier, I can get all the information regarding how my voice usage is, prepaid, postpaid, whether it has reached achievement, target achievement, and also can have a link to for the detailed dashboards as well. This is browser. So again, whichever browser you are in, you can do that on your website, on some competitive website, wherever you are. Now going to mobile, right? So mobile, things get much easier. So probably whatever KPIs you just saw, or whatever cards you saw, is also available here. But with mobile, life gets much more easier, right? Or here we have as MicroStrategy, we have dedicated, as you can see, we have dedicated application for Hyper. You log in, you configure the same UX, you can enable, disable the cards according to your security role. Then you can actually search the name of the card. In this example, we are just searching for a vendor, right? So you are in a meeting, people are talking about MicroStrategy, and you want to know what are you doing with them, right? Who is your contact? Where are they from? Is there any open PO? How much money you have already spent with them? Quality, quantity, all that information that you need. So you can actually search that. But easier is, if you are on iOS, you can go to the Spotlight, and you can see, I can type in MicroStrategy. You can see all those apps that MicroStrategy has. On top of that, I go down, there is the same hypercard, right? So you get that information. So this is, as Atul said, right? Mostly the people use mobile for that quick information. You don't need to be on the web or Outlook to get, but on the mobile, it just slide down in the Spotlight search. It can be your vendor, it can be one of your employees, it can be your customers, it can be regarding a PO, it can be regarding your Jira account, anything that as Atul said, that use cases are, limitless. So we can have all this information. Okay, that's all from my side regarding.
Ranjit, can I just add, just to go back to that HR question, right? So from the HR side, it's actually quite unique on that front as well. We have some of the big universities in UAE and Saudi who we are talking to about hyperintelligence, and they have multiple use cases. So basically, they are interested in having student hypercards, right? So for every student, there's a hypercard which has key KPIs about that student, which includes his attendance, his grades, some of the things, related to his extracurricular activities. So all this information lies in different systems. All of this information doesn't lie in the HR system. So they want to have these student hypercards. They also want to have, for professors, right, for teachers, they want to have hypercards depending on what their performance looks like. They also want to have division-wise hypercards. Let's say this faculty or this department has this much, performance of their students, pass rate, things like that. So there are multiple use cases there, and this becomes quite interesting for educational institute because it gives them real-time information about so many different people within the institute. Just to give you a small example, but we can share more information on the HR side as well. Okay, sorry, Ranjit, continue.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so this is what we had to show in terms of live. We are happy to take the questions. You can either type the questions in the Q&A or in the webinar chat as well.
I have also allowed everyone and opened their mics, so you people can ask any question, whatever you want. Asad Akhtar have a question. Asad, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi everybody. Well, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we can hear.
Yeah, so I really like this idea of hyperintelligence, and I really appreciate the feature is available everywhere, and you have the integrated systems in different platforms. So what I'm looking at is at the interfaces, it looks good, but what about the data modeling part of this hyperintelligence system, and how it's connected to everything? That's the part where I'm interested in understanding how it's connecting, how the data modeling is done, and what what parameters you need to have that system in place. And second part is you talked about the connectors. So does the connectors to SAP or Salesforce or another, they come bundled, or do you need to purchase them separately from a licensing perspective? Do you need to purchase them separately, or they come bundled with the MicroStrategy, or what's the licensing model for that? These are my two questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much for asking this. To answer your first question regarding the data modeling, right? So as you can, I'll quickly share my screen here. If you see here, right? So this is a high level architecture of MicroStrategy, where I will go as quickly as possible, and below you have the data sets. When you say data set, different data sources. So I see some of the people asking questions regarding seamless integration with other information, like your question as well, right? Salesforce, SAP, so all comes on below, right? Once the data is connected in MicroStrategy, it is all treated as one single source. This is where we create a logical model, right? It's not physical model, or we are not going to bring in data. We just create a logical model. What it does is it helps you to create, if I may go a little technical, it helps to automatically create the SQL queries in multi-pass SQL queries. We don't write a single line of code in MicroStrategy. That is another good part about MicroStrategy. Once that is done, the object, so it's all object oriented. It's all single objects. So if you can see on the diagram, right, my hyperintelligence is just one of the flavors that we provide. To sticking more to the hyperintelligence, we have by default a lot of templates where you just drag and drop and create. So it's all about bringing in the data, using, creating those logical models and creating. Having said that, you can also do this on top of your Excel. You can, on your in-memory or, your local files as well. Before I take that, and to answer your next question, all the connectors, so we have 250 odd connectors, everything is certified by MicroStrategy, and it comes by default with MicroStrategy software. One good part is it is not just for the architect or admin or the IT guys to handle it. We provide it on the front end to the business users also to connect. Before I take one more question here, let me quickly show you something wherein since yesterday, so it was launched just yesterday, by yesterday, we have what we call it as Hyper Now, which is a free trial, which is available for 90 days. So you don't need to have an IT budget to enable this to your users. You can actually go in, register to our website, right? This is microstrategy.com. You come here, you register. Once registered, you can start your free trial. It is for 90 days. So you can deploy it. It has simple videos which show you how easy you can bring in your data and start creating Hyper and deploy. Because it is coming from a single place, you save it. We don't even say as deploy. You save it. It is readily available on all the different platforms like Outlook, mobile, and also your Chrome. It's all one-click configuration. The videos are there, simple videos which will help you to understand. So I really request everyone, if you are interested in this new concept, take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes to register and click on it. You start your trial then and there. To take another question, what will be the pricing be like for the Hyper? I take Atul to answer that. Atul?
And just sorry, I guess Uwais Ahmed Khan has a question. So pricing, I
Yes.
guess Atul, let's answer it at the end.
Okay.
Sure,
All right.
sure.
Uwais, please go ahead for your question.
Yes, sir. Sir, kindly told me about brief Salesforce, and then this front end is layout is made up with the Vue or React or Angular. Kindly these two elaborate me.
Sorry,
Salesforce.
can you come back?
Kindly told me about brief what Salesforce is. Salesforce.
Say, yeah, Salesforce. Salesforce is a CRM company. They provide. So this is one of the largest CRM companies in the world. So what we Atul try to explain is that irrespective of what they are, so CRM is just an example. So if any of your ERP, CRM, any of your internal systems, right, you develop natively as well, we can have MicroStrategy on top of that. So what it basically does is anything that you're running on your website, right, here on the website, you have an extension, correct? So you have the extension. I have enabled a Kpi card or any other card. What it does is each card will have a unique keyword. It will
So
go back
basically,
and
this is a database like the storing of data.
no, not really. We don't have a database. We have the data in memory. So we have intelligent cube, in memory cubes, where we create aggregates of what we need, not the entire data. We create the aggregate and keep it there so that the MicroStrategy can pull the hypercard in subsequent time with all those KPIs, since it is coming from different sources. So to answer your question, so this J300, right, that is a keyword associated with this particular card on just marketing postpaid campaigns, right? And once it detects, it reads through the website. Once it detects this keyword, that gets underlined, and highlighted means that there is sufficient information for this particular keyword. So you hover, you get that information. How this is unique is because this is the same set of KPIs or same set of objects that would be used across MicroStrategy. Even if you are doing a MicroStrategy dashboard, you are using MicroStrategy dashboard on a mobile, all the different flavors, we will be using the same set of objects so that the data, whatever data you see, remains the same across.
Sure, sir. And sir, this all front end is designed for which Angular, React, or Vue?
So
Which technology?
it's mostly Java based.
Okay. No,
Okay.
sir, front end design. Java is basically a backend side language.
Yeah, I know. So Angular JS, there are multiple things that is being used. To be honest, I'm not an expert in this.
Okay. Thank you.
Ranjit, there is another question from Munawar Ali. Can you please answer that? May I know how the information vendor is integrated in HyperCard?
Hi Ranjit, this is Munawar. My
Hi,
question
Manav.
is pertaining to integration. When I say integration, it means the information of other organizations coming in HyperCards. As you have said, you were explaining that we just create a logical data model in MSTR. Just take an example of an organization which is having 1,000+ vendors, and they need to integrate information of all these vendors. So in that case, we'll have to create equivalent connections for that.
So when you say vendors, these are different vendor information. You talk about who is the vendor, contact details, what are we doing with
Yes.
them, the PO request, other details about them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, at this point of time in your company or in any company, this would be sitting in some particular systems. So where there will be a vendor registration or portal, and there will be a system. Either directly we can connect to them through APIs, or like 95% of the time, this data is sitting in a database. So we can connect. We would have connectors to that particular database, which we can bring in. Again, when you say cards, we just create for one particular card, right? One template, and it just works for every vendors. So basically integration means we can connect through APIs to these systems in your company, which has vendor information, or we will connect to the database, which is having that.
So for example, if the vendors are different, so they will be having information on different system. So my question is very uh, uh, straightforward. For example, if there are different vendors, so in that case, we have to create multiple connections. So isn't it a better idea to have all the vendors information in place on premises rather than having or creating multiple connections for that?
Absolutely. Again, this is a data related call that we have to make, whether you want to have the different systems to have the vendor information or a single place. The best part about MicroStrategy is we are good with that. The best case scenario is having everything in one place, as you said, on premise in a SQL server or any database for that matter. But if the requirement comes in where we have to connect to different places to get this information to one particular card, that is also possible.
Okay, thanks. You answered my question.
Thank you.
Just in continuation to this question, I have a little question, if I can ask. Yeah. I was just curious to know that, again, in the continuation of this question, there are multiple systems that are involved in the integration, it appears. Harmonizing them, it appears, is not a challenge for MicroStrategy. But just out of curiosity, I wanted to check, for example, the systems have TBs of data, and we have 10 systems connected. So will that be a combined database, or we just filter out some extract from those?
So we can, thanks for the question again. So we can actually bring in the data, and more than often we have seen is we just need a subset of those data from all those tables combined, right? So what MicroStrategy at a front end side for easy to use, what they can do is, I'm talking completely regarding the hyperintelligence, okay? So in that frame, as you said, we can bring in data from different tables or sources, either bringing all the data in, which is also not an issue for us, but most of the time what I have seen is that people will bring in some subset, as you said, filtering some data, only bringing those relevant information from different sources and create an intelligent cube within MicroStrategy. So which can have a subset or a snapshot of the data that is needed to have this hypercards created. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you very much. So that answers my question. So we have a subset of data rather than adding all the sub tables together.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next question is from Akib Javed.
Yes, sir. Sir, I want to know that if you are using a lot of data from everywhere, so basically you are doing web scraping or something like that, or you can have a local databases from which you are collecting your data. And the next question is, what do you recommend to the students who want to know more about it and have a career on that tool? Thank you.
Thank you, Akib. Thank you so much for asking that. So to answer your first question, we are really out of time here. So quickly answering your first question, it is a continuation of what I was just talking about a while back. My previous answers were, we do bringing the data together to create a subset of data to create a single in-memory cube, in-memory or a snapshot. You can take it as a different version of a database for your understanding. It's not a database, but it's kind of a database where you can actually bring in data in memory. Answering to your second question, how do you want to know more? I mean, if you want to know more, as I shown here, you go to here, you can start your trial. Good part of our MicroStrategy website, we have completely revamped it to the new needs. You know, it's completely video based now. So you can start with business intelligence. So this is where I will start if I want to learn. It's not just about this as information, not just about MicroStrategy, but also the generic BI information. So I will go with here, go to microstrategy.com, go to business intelligence, go on to see what it is, how it is, what all our videos and small and big videos you can have. Then I can download free desktop, start a free trial to know more. Or if you want to have documentation, that is also available here. And if you're really interested in not just Hyperintelligence, MicroStrategy as a whole, actually you guys can come here to see the upcoming events or live events, or can do the on-demand webinars as well, which would be great. If there are existing customers in the group, in the team now, I don't know whether you guys have already looked at it, but there is something called expert.now, which we launched a few months back. If you have any questions, any technical questions or regarding whatever you are using, you can just click here, come here, select which is the section that you want to select, and describe the description and find an expert. You can actually get a live expert on call on video right then and there from across the world, whoever is available. So no longer you need to raise a ticket and wait for the response. You can do this expert.now. That's all from my side.
Sir, I have one more question.
Quickly, yeah, please.
Sir, in which companies in Pakistan they worked on MicroStrategy? Have you any idea?
Sure. Atul, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so we have MicroStrategy in Uphone, in Jazz, and in PTCL primarily.
And IT company like NetSol, System Limited, Confiz, I2C, or not?
That I would not be aware of, honestly.
Okay,
No.
sure.
Just to second the author, like MicroStrategy biggest clients, usually this tool is designed for enterprise level analytics, like organization which are quite big in scale, and particularly who are customer facing. For example, you have mentioned about NetSol systems; they are usually service provider. So this tool is not designed particularly for them. This tool is designed for the companies who are providing services to customer. For example, telecom, they are serving customers at millions of customers, then Uphone, then PTCL. So they are the customers as of now.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you.
There's another question from Azaz Manzoor.
Uh,
It's regarding the job titles.
Hello,
yes, so,
Azaz.
I will try to answer this. I would assume you would need to look at like a MicroStrategy analyst kind of a job title. Okay.
Okay.
And also the education side, right? So you can come to the education side, and first, if you're going for
Yes.
analyst or whatever it is, it is more important for you to learn this first. And there are so many education browsers, catalogs, free and paid available. You can just come to the website and do the education part to see where you are. You can understand and you can, analyze your skills yourself to see where you are.
So I guess all of the questions are answered, and I'm also leaving my email address and phone number in chat window. So if still there is anything left which you people need to question, or you need answers, you can approach me on my number as well.
Ali, can you do me a favor and maybe send a follow-up to all the participants in case
Yes,
there
yes,
is other information required?
yes, yes, sure.
And in that email, please include the website link and the hyper trial link so that at least you know that information goes out. Okay.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
There's no more
Thank you.
questions. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. As I said, this is a strategic partnership between MicroStrategy and Dice. We would be having many more such sessions moving forward. This is just the start.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
Pricing.
great rest of the day, guys. Bye bye.
Sorry, Atul. Sorry
Yeah,
to interrupt you at last time. There is a question again for pricing. There's someone from
sure.
Farooq Munir. I guess he's also a current MicroStrategy user
Okay,
and a
so
useful alumni.
the pricing is NUP based, uh, and I don't want to tell you list pricing. Let me say it's very flexible, and we can have a separate discussion on that. No problem.
Okay.
Is that okay if we have a private discussion for the pricing?
Yes, yes, I can engage Farooq for that.
All right, perfect. Okay.
Okay. So thanks everyone. Thanks for your time. Thanks to Atul. Thanks to Ranjit. I guess it was a wonderful feature. And it's definitely going to save a lot of time when someone has to really rely on analytics in every decision, and then they haven't to worry about a lot of weight. That once we will have the number, then we'll make a decision. So see you soon again with a lot of new features on MicroStrategy.
Bye. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone. Take care.